2013 Dodge Caravan. Alternator crapped out, and you can see how it's covered in oil. What happens is this little sensor leaks on top of it. So there's where the sensor goes, and the alternator would sit right below it in this position down here. So the sensor leaks oil onto the alternator. Alternator craps out. Dodge knows this because here's the new alternator, and they give us two new studs with two nuts that create a cover that will go over top of the alternator to keep the oil off the alternator. They're not going to fix the problem of the leaky, bad designed sensor. They're creating a cover so that the oil will still leak. It just won't leak directly onto the alternator. Engineering at its finest. Okay. Alternator's in place down there. That's the sensor that leaks onto the alternator and makes the alternator crap out. And over here, you can see the cover that Dodge has come up with so that the dripping oil drips away from the alternator. So it doesn't drip onto the alternator, it drips away. Brilliant, Dodge. Brilliant, brilliant engineers. Don't fix the problem, just create a band-aid for the problem. This is the 3.6. While we're at the 3.6, there's your oil filter housing. And I don't know if we can get it in here. Yeah, you can see down in there, the oil shining down there. That, if I can point to it, down there it's shiny oil. This housing, there's an oil cooler down in the V there. And they leak. So that's another issue with the 3.6. What you have to do, you take the intake off and replace that whole oil cooler housing and cooler underneath there. It goes right across underneath there. There's a bunch of O-rings that leak on it. That oil comes out. It'll leak down to the back of the engine and out by the transmission. Lots of people think it's the rear main seal leaking, when in fact it's the oil down in the valley leaking down, around, and down. So maybe it's the rubber they're using in those sensors and in those seals on that thing that's the problem, because it leaks.